First, let me explain that I expect to give away practically every dollar of wealth I possess before I pass on. Let me hasten to say that I am finding it very difficult to give money where it will do more good than harm. It seems queer, but it is true, that men seldom profit by money except which they earn. I would willingly give every dollar I have to the men who work for me, if I could do so without doing them more injury than good. The good there is in money consists of the use to which it is put, and not in the mere possession of it. Generally speaking, the man who earns his own money acquires, along with it, some of the necessary wisdom as to its constructive use. You ask me to explain the reason for the great difference between my financial achievements and the financial status of those who work for me. I can only answer you by saying that I have accumulated great wealth because I was willing to assume great responsibilities and deliver service of a widespread nature. Of the thousands of men who work for me, I hazard the guess that not more than a score of them would be willing to assume my responsibilities and work the hours that I work, if I gave them all the money I possess for doing so. A few of the men who work for me have been willing to assume such responsibilities, and it is significant that every one of these is as rich as he desires to be. In a single year, I have paid such men as Charlie Schwab as much as $1 million for their services, most of which was paid for services they rendered over and above that which was required of them in connection with the earning of their regular salaries. But before I paid out such huge sums to these men, they had become practically indispensable to me by their willingness to assume responsibilities and relieve me of the load I was carrying. Men with this sort of mental attitude have a way of fixing their own incomes, and there is but little anyone else can do to stop them from getting their own price. I never set the wage scale of any man who works for me. Every man sets his own wage scale by the sort of service he renders, the quality and the quantity of his service, plus the mental attitude in which he renders it. Understand this truth, and you will know that there is no injustice in connection with the difference between the fortunes which men accumulate.